And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's satsang with the Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is called O Holy Mother Ganges. I remember the first time I saw you shining in the early morning sun, with your sparkling waters flowing on, reflecting the clouds in the sky. The trees touched with you danced in the heavenly breeze, while the peacocks called to spring. Carry me in your arms to the sea of eternity. Oh, Holy Mother Ganges, may I be free forever. Oh, sweet river Ganges, just as you uproot unbending trees in your swift current, take my pride and ego away, away. May I be like the bamboo trees, bending in adoration and love. Carry me in your arms to the sea of eternity. Oh, Holy Mother Ganges, may I be free forever. For centuries the sannyasis with folded hands pray in the moonlight on the silvery sands, while your cool waters swirled and surged over rocks, giving a hope and joy unknown. Carry me in your arms to the sea of eternity. Oh, We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is February the 19th, 2021, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Tulsi Ramayana. This is series 2016, class number 240. And now Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Neelambujashyamalkomalangam Sita Samaropita Tvamabhagam Panavu Maha Sayak Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adoration to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Sri Ramcharitmanas in Ayodhya Kand, for context, verse number 314 continues. In storyline, Bharata is ready to depart for Ayodhya, and at this stage there is all the people from King Janaka, from Mithila, people from Ayodhya, sages and saints, and gods on the top of the head. They have all come together. So whatever is happening is in this big assembly. And Sri Rama is giving his instructions for Bharata. Mor tumhar param purusharatu, swaratu sujasu dharamu paramaratu, pitu ayasu paliyahi duhum bhai, lok veda bhala bhupa bhalai. Our greatest, Rama is telling Bharata, for both of us, the greatest good lies in observing the words that were given by the father to Kaikeyi Devi. And by following Pitri Vachan, your father's words, we will be at our best. How? Your Purushartha will be effective. Purusharth, Swarth, Suyash, Dharma, Paramarth. I will give you some meaning behind these words. Purusharth refers to pursuing the path of Dharma. Dharma as the basis for the four purposes of life. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Ethical value is the foundation. On the basis of ethical value, you go after material value. Next, vital value. Means how you deal with society, how you deal with near and dear ones. All that comes under vital value. And finally, spiritual value, which is attaining liberation. Pursuing this whole process, that's called Purushartha. And that Purushartha is real Swartha. Swa is self. And the best fulfillment for the self is self-realization. Suyash, and you will gain kirti, fame, you will go viral. This point we have discussed before. Any spiritual progress is like blossoming of a flower. And if you blossom, you are going to waft fragrance. And many will be benefited without your knowing it. So that type of fragrance emanating personality, that's called real fame. Otherwise, it's just ordinary fame. Ordinary fame is just shame. I'm joking. Parama Paramarth, the supreme goal. So, let's both brothers, both of us, Rama talking to Bharata, and subtle point behind it, Bharata is bhakti, devotion. Rama is jnana, as well as moksha, liberation. How bhakti and jnana must be so dear to each other. And that's presented in the Ramayana. In a spiritual movement, let bhakti and jnana both must be highlighted in your sadhana. If you are highlighting only jnana and allowing your heart to be dry, your jnana will not be effective. It will remain verbal. But if you allow your heart also to be filled with love, I'm talking about universal love, filled with that type of feeling that sends out goodwill for all. So be that type of tender-hearted. And that's the bhakti movement. Bhakti becomes para bhakti, supreme devotion, which is same as attaining param gyan, supreme wisdom. Guru pitu matu Swami sikha pale, chalehun kumag pag parahin khale, as bichari sab soch bihai, palahu avadha avadhi pari jai. If one were to follow teachings of Guru, Father, Mother, and master. Your master is whoever is your guide. By doing so, one does not fall into lesser stage of your evolution, spiritual evolution. Literally it is saying, your feet will not go into a ditch. So, therefore, go to Ayodhya and rule over Ayodhya, support the subjects of Ayodhya for the period of 14 years. देशु कोशु परिजन परिवारु गुरुपद रजहि लाग छरु भारबु तुम मुनि मातु सचिव सिखमानी पालेहु पुहुमि प्रजा रजधानी. All the responsibilities that you have to look after, responsibilities are for your country, for your treasury, for your family members, all types of responsibilities. If you were to follow instructions of Guru, all these will be easy for you without obstacle. Subtle point is, there are always, constantly you are faced with responsibilities. When ego handles the responsibilities, it goes on creating stress in your mind. But if you develop a spirit of surrender to God, but God being the highest stage, if you learn to follow the teachings of Guru, in the case of Rama and Bharata, it was Vasishtha. If you were follow the teachings of mothers and friendly counselors, you will be able to observe your responsibility in the profoundest way possible. मुखिया मुख सो चाहिए, खान पान कहूँ एक, पालई पोषई सकल अंग, तुलसी सहित विवेक. How should a Raja, a king should be? It is not politics. Anyone who has become qualified for attaining liberation is a Raja. A liberated state, you are Param Raja, supreme royalty. Going after the root letters, Raja, Ra is Agni Bij, root letter of fire. Fire is the beginning of Uttarayana Marga that leads to liberation. Consider Ra as the mystic sun representing the goal of life. Ja Jakaro Janma Vicheda. That movement that terminates a cycle of birth and death. So if you are moving towards attaining a revelation of who am I, for terminating the cycle of birth and death, you are Raja. If you succeed in it, if you progress in it, you are Maharaja. You succeed in it absolutely, you are Param Raja. Raja is an endearing word also. In family, parents turn to their cute children, say, "You Raja, mere hriday ke Raja, you ruler of our heart." And all those who depend upon you, all the responsibilities, if you focus on pursuing the path of Purushartha for attaining liberation, then all your responsibilities will be well observed without your effort. This is an important saying of sages. Mukhiya mukh so chahiye, khan pan kahun ek. This is Tulsidas ji saying. Another statement is there, eka hi sadhe sab sadhe, sab sadhe sab jaye. If you endeavor to succeed in one task in a perfect way, then you are going to succeed in all tasks. But if you go on doing any task in a haphazard way, then every task that you do will be defective. So that type of attitude has to develop. And your task is to be related to God. If you move towards God realization, then you become the real source of nourishment for all your subjects. A chief who should be like a mouth. How should a king, a leader behave? Just like your mouth behaves. In other words, you give nourishment to your mouth, but it goes all over your body from toes to the head. But start giving nourishment to your nails, your hands, your feet. You do that also. But the real source of nourishment is your mouth. And similarly, in spiritual movement, the mouth means be focused on Godward movement. If you are focused on Godward movement, all other responsibilities, all the problems that you have to face, they will become easier by the miracle of grace. Raj dharam sarvas par etanoyi jimi man maha manorath goyi बंधु प्रबोध कीन बहुभांति बिनु आधार मन जो तोषु न साति. This is the essence of royal duty. The royal term I have explained. And it should dominate one's heart. Thus, Lord Rama gave loving instructions to Bharata. But Bharata wanted to have some solid support. And what type of solid support? Bharata Shila Guru Sachiva Samaju Sakucha Sane Bibasa Raghuraju Prabhu Kari Kripa Pavari Dini Sadara Bharat Shishadhari Lini. Bharata was the very embodiment of devotion. In the midst of all great personalities who had assembled there, gurus, ministers, and leaders of society, Sri Rama looked at all of them and was feeling very humbled, as well as he was overwhelmed with love for Bharata. In other words, in a very shy manner, Bharata, rather Rama, presented his Khanau, Pavari, Khanau is the for your feet, just like a sandals. For the feet, Khanau is a bold style, and it has subtle implication. It is symbolic of Pada Puja, worshipping the feet of the Lord. Feet are so highlighted in all ritual worships. And what does that imply? Here you can get a little insight into it. In order to attain liberation, the very basic necessity for a spiritual aspirant is to be initiated into mantra. Mantra can be just Om, mantra can be just Ram, can be Om Namah Shivaya, short or little extended. Practice of japa is of two types. Recitation of mantra with the help of your mala, or likhit japa. You go on writing the mantra on a sheet of paper and create a schedule for it. Likhita mantra brings about impressions of those letters that go to point out to God. So, how does God look like in literature? If God is Rama, Rama, Sri Ram, Sri Ram. This Sri Ram becomes your crown, your two pieces of paduka. And these must dominate your head. And it becomes possible because as you do japa, impressions go deep into your unconscious. An unconscious relation develops with your mantra. So if you are doing Ram, 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 as japa, as repetition with your mala, along with blended with likhit japa, you are as if adopting the lotus sandals from the lotus feet of Rama. So Bharata is putting the sandals of Rama on his head, has all these subtle implications. Charan Peeth Karuna Nidhan Ke Janu Juga Jamik Praja Pran Ke. Rama, who is ocean of compassion, his both sandals are the support of all the subjects that Bharata has been worried about. Samput Bharat Saneh Ratan Ke Aakhar Jug Janu Jeev Jatan Ke. It's like a box. The sandals of Rama are like a mystic box containing the virtue of serving others, doing good to all. More highlighted is a box that contains Bharata's love. The essence of sadhana for a jiva, for a soul, is two letters. Ra and Ma. When we talk about Likhit Japa. It's good to learn Devanagari script, the script in which Sanskrit is written. But if it is easier for you to write it in any other script, Roman script, in English way, in Urdu way, whichever way, use your own script. But allow the japa to work upon your personality. Give time all day by day. Akshara, letters of Rama, are even greater than the form of Rama in the role of sadhana. Form of Rama is Sagun Sakar, all the detail of his personality, how his bow and arrow adorn his body, blue complexion and all that. All that is a powerful support of your mind. But even greater support is the name Ram, Ram, Ram. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Any mantra. Or simple Om, Om. So if you are doing japa of the letters of mantra, as if you have placed those letters on your head, and those letters are the feet of God. Each has been touched by the feet of God. So we are bringing the feet of God right on your head, and thereby bringing about a change in your entire personality. कुल का पाठ कर कुलस कुशल करम के विमल नयन सेवा सुधर्म के. These two sandals, they are two gates for protecting the lineage of Raghukul. The meaning behind it, Raghukul, belonging to the lineage of Rama. Rama himself belonged to Raghukul, implying one who is following the path of Uttarayana. Whoever follows the path leading to God realization, God is symbolically described as shining sun. Whoever follows the Uttarayana path to be blended with this light of lights, he belongs to Raghukul. But what about Yadukul? I'm just extending. If you study Uttarayana movement, Agnir Jyotiah Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam. First stage is fire, Vairagya. Jyoti, Viveka, discriminative knowledge. Aha, your life that is being enriched by integral yoga. So you are not living your life with constant sorrow. but a constant inspiration. So far is Raghukul, same soul that has gone through these stages. When he gets into Shukla, Shukla means now your heart undergoes a spiritual transformation. Instead of holding ugly feelings and sentiments, it holds sentiments of divine love. All this I'm saying quickly, it is progressive movement. Each time you do japa, meditation, you experience certain spiritual tenderness in your heart. And that gives you the points out to the goal, to possess a heart that has enshrined God. Heart has become like a lotus. So when you have come to that stage of experience that progresses in your feeling aspect, your heart goes on as if expanding. Then you are in Yadukul. You belong to Chandravanshi, the lunar lineage. Solar lineage is first 3 points of the Uttarayana. Lunar lineage is the fourth. In other words, don't get confused. It's the same process. In one stage called Raghukul, another stage Yadukul or Chandravansh. And for having the vision of best dharma, these two sandals of Rama, they are like two eyes. Bharata, having received the sandals of Rama, became exceedingly thrilled. It appeared to him as if he has become united with Sita and Rama as he places the sandals on his head. Mangeu vida pranam kari राम लिए उरलाई लोग उचाटे अमरपति कुटिल को अवसर पाई. Bharata now seeks permission to depart for farewell. Sri Rama enfolds him in his heart, embraces him. And at that time, wicked Indra, finding the opportunity, he inflicted the minds of people with uchchatan. Uchchatan means a sudden distaste for staying where they were staying in Rama's ashram. Their mind was so involved with being separated from Rama that everything else went away from their mind. And separation itself didn't cause them any harm. I'm pointing to how gods, you read in the Puranas, Indra always exercises Shadayantra. It's a kind of a divine plan which has a kind of a trick. It has two types of. One is stopping you from going to liberation. If the lower self is strong in your personality, then you fall into the trap of negative Shadayantra. Shadayantra is 6 points. Prapanch. Prapanch is ill-conceived plot. Maya, magical performance. Bhaya, fear. Brahm, delusion. Arati, distaste. And ultimately, uchchatan, indifference. All this I'm giving you extended points. Basic point, that they became prepared to go back to Ayodhya. Ayodhya group, the Ayodhya society will go to Ayodhya, and Janaka society will go to Mithila. So they will go to their different places. If the mind was not influenced by the divine plan, it wouldn't be possible. And what I'm also pointing out is a subtler point, that divine plan operates in two ways. If lower self is strong, then you are constantly falling down, led by Shadayantra of gods. If higher self begins to dominate, then the Shadayantra of gods is lifting you up. So you are always subject to divine will and divine plan. And how the divine will operate, that will be dependent upon your state of evolution. Mange vida pranam kari Ram liye urlai Logau chate amarpati kutil avasarupai So kuchali sab kahas bhaini ki Avadhi as samjivan ji ki. Gods performed their tricky conduct. Now let me explain to you. This is written as a pun. God is described like a deceptive person, people who are with deception. But this deception is a positive nature. In a very simple language, what does it mean? Practice of virtues have two stages. Virtues that you practice that keep your mind sakamya, mind focused on coming back to the cycle of birth and death. That type of virtue. Comes from gods. Those virtues, the personifications of virtues are gods. Gods who do not lead you to liberation, but lead you to cycle of birth and death. So that type of one aspect of godly movement. But when virtues come to another stage, they inspire your heart with aspiration for enlightenment. Those virtues are same gods creating a plot for your evolution. Same virtues that keep you involved with the world. Then there is the wicked Indra. Same virtues, when they begin to lead you to spiritual evolution towards liberation, that again is Indra's trick, but not wicked. सो कुचालु सबक कहाँ भईनी की अवधि आस सम जीवन जी की न तरु लखन सिय राम वियोगा हरि मरत सब लोग कुरोगा. This bad conduct of Indra, bad conduct, pun, humor, wit, it became so beneficial for all people, because if this had not happened, the idea that they would be separated from Rama, Lakshmana and Sita, the moment they would have heard that without this trick played upon them, they would have died. But the divine trick helped this situation. And behind all that story, subtle point is being highlighted is the role of devotion to God. How dominating and engrossing movement of love is in human heart. Love for God. And that must match up along with it Tattva Gyan, knowledge of the self. And with this I will conclude for today. Om. Om. Ram, 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 Ram. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras grace of God over all of you, with the blessings of Shakti, bhakti and mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukuva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukhyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Are there any questions tonight? Well, tomorrow night at 7:30, Swamiji will guide meditation. And remember, Sunday, the Bhagavad Gita lecture from now on is at 7:30 instead of 5:30. Is a question?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sri Rekha.
Ram Swamiji, can you please elaborate on Ek Hi Ek Sadhe? And then I think the end is Jab Jai or something. So what is the full import of that?
Ek hi sadhe sab sadhe.
Yeah, Sadhe.
Sab sadhe sab jai. Sab jai means all become scattered.
Oh, okay.
All fail.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have followed one concentrational movement,
Mm-hmm.
doing a job perfectly,
Yes.
then you can handle all other jobs nicely.
Oh.
But if you are keeping your mind distracted,
Mm.
then you do half this way, half that way, half that way. A little here, little there, little there.
Mm-hmm.
They're digging for water, little here, little there.
Mm.
If you dug in one place, you will get the water.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Om Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.
Thank you, Swamiji.